So the One Piece manga lately, this year, 2014 thus far, kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that's been going on, a couple of gripes I have, what I want to see, what's been going on, and ultimately just the One Piece manga lately in general. Now, for starters, one of the things that I've definitely been noticing throughout this arc, as of late anyway, is Oda has been kind of skipping around on fights. We'll get a little bit of the fight, and then he'll go back to something else. As far as, like, for example, Sabo versus Fujitora probably could be one of the most incredible fights ever, one of the most devastating things, and Oda kind of just brings us back every now and then. We might see a page or two, and then it goes back. I really hope that at some given point, Oda does a full-on focus on that, because this is an amazing fight that's going on right now. And what's going on? At the end of the day, Sabo, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army, he has the Flame Flute right now, the Mera Mera no Mi, and he's going up against an Admiral Fujitora. I really hope Oda doesn't continuously do what he's been doing. I mean, this is an important battle. This is the Revolutionary Army, second in command, versus Admiral fucking Fujitora, an admiral for the government. So this is a humongous fight, and I really hope that Oda goes back to it at some given point, because as of right now, it's kind of like we have a lot of interesting fights, and it just constantly goes back to different things, and a lot of times it's things that majority of us don't really want to see anymore. I think most of us do not give a flying fuck about the Tontattas. It's like Princess Manchelli has a power, okay, that might be something interesting, but as a whole, one of the things about this arc that if I could change it, I definitely would, is the amount of screen time the Tontattas have. The Tontattas, while at the end of the day they do serve because they are a part of the story and everything, I would give them way less screen time because they eat up valuable screen time, or panel time, shall I say, where we could be having the Zoro versus Pika fight where, you know, we got like a good chunk of that out of nowhere, and it was like, holy shit, this is absolutely amazing, and then it's back to the fucking Tontattas. And honestly, if Oda decided to kill most of them off, I would be totally fine with that. I really don't care for the Tontattas, and I think that if anything about this arc is taking it down, is the Tontattas, is because nobody fucking wants to see them, you know, stumbling and bumbling about, looking at the door. It says don't come in, we can't go in there. It's like, fuck the Tontattas. Also, it definitely seems as though, probably due to the anime, Oda has been kind of pacing a lot slower lately. We'll have chapters where it's kind of like majority of the chapter is just Luffy and them. They're trying to go up to the 3rd level. They're trying to go up to the 4th level. I definitely hope that Oda, after the anime gets a certain, you know, point a ways from the manga, that we actually get back to normal pacing, because ultimately the pacing has kind of been slow for the second half of this year. Like, One Piece started off, for the most part, absolutely amazing, especially from the end of last year, like December of last year, till, like, you know, the middle of this year, or probably, I want to say, I don't know, March or so. We've had some incredible things. I mean, Sabo showed up. We got him fighting Fujitora. We got some amazing setups, and the setups have been phenomenal. Like, this still could be one of the best arcs. I won't say the best arc anymore, because there's just been a lot of Tontattas and a lot of things of that nature that kind of like is central to this arc, but not the overall story for the most part. But this still could be one of the best arcs, because there's just been so many amazing setups. It's just Oda kind of focuses on things that don't really pertain to the overall story. Like, again, going back to the Tontattas, and like, for example, we'll have Law's flashback is about to start, and I'm really excited to see that shit. Just seeing baby Law with the grenades around his neck, it was like, we're finally getting it. And then Oda cuts off, and we haven't heard any mention of it, and I thought that was the time. And I don't know if, again, because I think he got a new editor as well, if his new editor is telling him, yo bro, we gotta milk this ship. It's like, Oda, you're a genius. Please don't do this to us. Let's get more of that proper One Piece pacing, because as a whole, that's always been One Piece's problem for the most part, the pacing, because Oda likes to go nice and smooth, make sure we don't go over any bumps. But at the same time, while it's going nice and smooth, you do want more entertaining aspects. And I mean, at the end of the day, if we have amazing fights going on, why not see those fights instead of looking at the fucking Tontattas touching their butt cheeks every 2 minutes? And if you notice, we really haven't seen much, or heard for that matter much, of the Big Mom situation since that happened. I honestly think Oda's doing that purposely, maybe at some given point, because, you know, the whole thing with Jolam, and that might, you know, bridge the gap of them becoming friends. I honestly wouldn't be surprised at some given point if Sanji comes back with the Big Mom ship next to them, and they all start attacking against Doflamingo, and she teams up with them and puts the BS aside with Luffy, and it's like, we're gonna help them, my daughter is cool with them, so fuck it, and they just start bombing at Doflamingo or some shit like that. That might be why Oda hasn't gone back to that, because because off screen maybe he might do something like that, and then bam, Big Mom comes in, which would be a crazy twist. And overall, it's like, it's weird because it has so many amazing things going on. Honestly, it's like Sabo was one of the greatest things. It's like one of the chapters of the fucking past couple of years for One Piece in general, which is absolutely phenomenal. But it gives you that, and then it's like Tontatta, skipping backstory of Law, dancing around fights, and it's like, please, let's go back to more of that stuff. That's honestly the only thing I could really say as far as like a flaw, I would say, with what's going on, because it's just, it's incredible. You got amazing things going on. Doflamingo has the entirety of Dressrosa locked the fuck up. It's just really, if Oda could please stop doing those things, then we'd be golden, because, I mean, Sabo, Pika, Zoro, Doflamingo, Law's backstory, a lot is set up. It's as if we have golden fucking statues of greatness around, but we can only touch the bronze. We can only look at the bronze. We can't really look at the gold. We might get a sneak at the gold, and then it's like, oh, back to the bronze. And to touch up on Law's backstory real quick, I think definitely as far as this Corazon guy, he probably at some given point risked his life for Law. Maybe, you know, Law's devil fruit maybe might have been his at some given point, and he gave it to him because maybe Law was dying. Maybe Law had a sickness or an illness, and he helped him so that he could heal himself. Maybe he became best friends with Corazon and Doflamingo. At the end of the day, we've seen the characterization of Doflamingo is very weird, because he's like, on one half, it looks like he loves his family. He fucking will go ham for them. But then at the same time, he'll kill them in a heartbeat if it means helping himself. So it's as if he's selfish, but still cares for his family. But I can't really make out Doflamingo. Like, Doflamingo seems to be a very complex character. It's like, we heard some inklings of his backstory, but we don't even know if that's legit or not. That I think he killed his father, or his mother died, and he killed his father, so his parents were dead, and he says the Don Quixote are his own family. You know, that's the only people that he has left. But then there's times where it looks as though he don't give a fuck about them. I mean, if you even flash back to, you know, towards the beginning of the series with the whole Bellamy situation, he would look like he was about to snap Bellamy's neck, and we thought Bellamy was dead for the longest time, and then Bellamy comes back, and he's like, Dillinger, take care of this motherfucker, even though he supposedly treasures a lot of his comrades and stuff like that. But I guess he really only treasures the people that are in the executive branches. And even then, it's like, Jola, you know what type of family he says, I'm going to kill you. And Jola's like, oh, okay. So it's just, he's a really complex character, and I would really like to dissect him a little bit more, and Oda go more into him as well. So that's another thing that's on the horizon. And as a whole, with the One Piece manga lately, I just really hope Oda picks up the pacing and goes to the more interesting things instead of like Tontatta's Princess Manchelli, because there's just so much amazingness going on that we're missing out on. But let me know what you think of the One Piece manga lately. What have you been thinking about what's been going on recently? Do you care for the pacing? Also, any of the fights, what do you think that Oda should really be focusing more on? Do you care for the Tontattas at all? Because again, like, they're comedic relief at certain times, and you definitely need that, but the amount of screen time is not justified, as far as, especially considering there's so many great things going on right now. And any theories or predictions? What do you think about Law's backstory with Corazon? Do you think we're going to see it anytime soon? Also, what can you make about Doflamingo's character? Why is he so nuts and bonkers, but yet at the same time such a loyal and caring dude? What, like, it's almost as if the dude's bipolar. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be awesome. I'm Finette World, and as always, people, have an awesome day. So the One Piece manga lately, this year, 2014 thus far, kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that's been going on, a couple of gripes I have, what I want to see, what's been going on, and ultimately just the One Piece manga lately in general. Now, for starters, one of the things that I've definitely been noticing throughout this arc, as of late anyway, is Oda has been kind of skipping around on fights. We'll get a little bit of the fight, and then he'll go back to something else. As far as, like, for example, Sabo versus Fujitora probably could be one of the most incredible fights ever, one of the most devastating things, and Oda kind of just brings us back every now and then. We might see a page or two, and then it goes back. I really hope that at some given point, Oda does a full-on focus on that, because this is an amazing fight that's going on right now. And what's going on? At the end of the day, Sabo, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army, he has the Flame Fling flute right now, the Mera Mera no Mi, and he's going up against an Admiral Fujitora. I really hope Oda